Hello. It's good to be back with you guys. I hope you're all doing well. It's Lipsy and we're back with another video. So, I hope you guys are doing okay. I thought today we'd go for a little bit more of a spooky vibe, a little bit of a haunted vibe. I am feeling my oats and I am feeling like a good ghost story. It's perfect right now. So I decided to go classic. I love a classic ghost story, and something perfect for me was the Enfield house. Now, if you haven't heard of the Enfield House of Poltergeist, where have you been hiding? Because everyone in the UK knows about this case. Let's dig in, guys. In August of 1977, single mother Peggy Hodgson heard a ruckus upstairs in her council house on Green Street in Enfield, London. She went upstairs quickly to find her kids screaming, fussing, scared, and the girls were saying the beds just started to go all wobbly. She called the police, naturally, because she didn't know what else to do. Now, PC Caroline Heaps came straight over. She said that she saw a chair wobble and there was no explanation how it happened. And she said that it did go about half an inch off the floor. She was fully buying it. Now this basically went viral. It was the 70s version of viral, as viral could get. And over 18 months, more than 30 people, including neighbours, psychics, journalists, went to visit the house and claimed that they saw furniture move by itself. They even claimed to have seen objects being thrown, and even daughter Janet levitating. Now the kids are quite a big part of this story, but the girls were the main part. There was Margaret, who was 13, Janet, 11, Johnny, 10, and Billy, 7. Now this all seemed to start happening when Margaret and Janet decided to play a Ouija board upstairs. Who would have thought that a little council house in Enfield would become such a viral thing? Not just viral, this is the house that inspired the Conjuring 2. Now all of the occurrences that I'm about to talk about happened between 1977 and 1979. So the Society of Psychical Research members, Maurice Gross and Grey Lion Playfair, basically adopted this as their story, and they spent a lot of time there over those 2 years. Now Guy still maintains that everything that happened there was totally legit. However, he is aware that he probably thinks that the girls are playing on it a little bit. He says that the house had objects flying around, cold breezes, physical assault, pools of water appearing on the floor, graffiti, and sometimes even spontaneous fires. So Janet seemed to be the most affected by these hauntings, and she slowly became the main character in them too. The press photographer who took that famous photo and inserted here, wonder how many of you guys are like, oh my god, I've seen that, I didn't realize this is about somewhere in England. Well, he has no doubt that she was actually levitating, and this house is most definitely haunted, and whatever was haunting it was haunting Janet too. He said that shortly before this photo was taken, he even got hit over the head by a Lego piece. Now, he said it went into his temple and really hurt his eye. He's fully convinced that nobody threw it. Janet and Margaret did admit to pranking some people, however Gross and a Guy decided to tell them not to take it any further and to retract admitting that to the press. Janet was detected bending spoons on camera and trying to bend a metal bar. They kind of labelled this as trickery, so they decided to say that this was her trying to trick everyone into believing the house is haunted. And then it turned out a little bit later that Janet was practicing ventriloquism, and Ray Allen, who was a professional ventriloquist, claims that the spirit who possessed Janet was just Janet's voice trickery. Then other people claim it was just bad Tourette. This was all quashed by a solicitor. Now the solicitor was a close relative to Maurice Gross. Now the solicitor actually said there would be no benefit to her making these noises, making this voice up, because there was no financial benefit to the family at all, so there'd be no reason for them to do this. He actually also said that it would have damaged her vocal cords and hurt her a lot to do it, so why would she? Now, after reading this, the most memorable thing for me was this little quote by Janet. She said in this voice, "Just before I died, I went blind. Then I had a brain hemorrhage. I fell asleep in the chair in the corner downstairs. This happened after Gross said, "If only the spirit could talk." Another quote was, "My name is Bill Wilkins and I come from Durrance Park. This is a graveyard quite close to the house. I am 72 years old and I have come to see my family, but they're not here now." They asked if Bill was aware that he was dead and he said, "Yeah, I came up from the grave at Durrance Park." Now this is where it gets freaky, because there was a Bill Wilkins who lived in this house and he passed away in the chair in the corner downstairs from a brain hemorrhage in the exact fashion described by Janet. But she got the age wrong. She said 72. He was actually 61 when he passed away, and he was buried at a different cemetery. He was buried at Lavender Hall Cemetery. But I question whether a 13-year-old would choose hemorrhage for a way to die. Like, it's more likely that a 13-year-old would go for something like really over the top or basic. I know as a 13-year-old I wouldn't have known about hemorrhages. So a huge selling point for this house's case is that Ed and Lorraine Warren went to visit it while this was all happening. Now if you don't know who they are, Ed and Lorraine are a famous couple, now passed away, who lived in America. Ed was a demonologist and Lorraine was a clairvoyant. In the film apparently it's portrayed like they were really invested in this case, but in real life it was quite different to that. Ed wasn't impressed, but in Gerald Britton's book about demonology, he says that yes, you can put out the photos of her levitating and all the little bits and pieces that went on there, but you can't describe the feeling of the atmosphere in their house. He said that it was dangerous and threatening. So this house was occupied by Peggy Hodgson until 2003 when she passed away. It was then occupied by Claire Bennett and her kids. She wasn't aware the houses passed, and then she moved in there with her 4 sons. She said she always felt uncomfortable, like someone was watching her, and she always felt like there was a presence. But it wasn't addressed until one day when her son was asleep in bed. He said that he was woken up in the night by a man walking into his bedroom. He said he just got out of bed that night and ran into his mother and said, "Mum, we have to move." And the next day they did. Now the person who lives there now doesn't want there to be any fuss about the house because she's got kids and it makes her feel uncomfortable that they would feel uncomfortable in their own home, which is completely fair enough. So she wishes not to be named. But I mean, it's a really weird situation because you want to be able to believe that it happened, but at the same time there's so much evidence to suggest that it was more of an intention thing. There's interviews with Janet now and she still claims that like, it was horrible living there because of all these hauntings and all the struggles she had growing up there. She got really bullied in school as well because they were all calling her the ghost girl and stuff like that. I mean, it's really weird that you would continue talking about it if you were getting bullied for it in school. I question whether she would or not. It's one to think about, I suppose. But it is a really famous case and it was one that was really interesting to look into. I hope you enjoyed the video, guys. If you did, let me know in the comments. Please hit that subscribe button. It really means the world to me. You should see me when I get like 1 subscriber. I get so excited. Like, I don't know what I would do if one of my videos went viral and I actually got loads of subscribers, because I would probably have a panic attack. I probably would. It's not even a joke. If you do subscribe, thank you so much. Please hit that notification bell as well, because if you're subscribing to me, you may as well know when I'm uploading. I do tend to upload every single Monday, and I upload about all different things. True crime, lifestyle, roasty stuff. If you like that type of thing, I'm sure you won't regret subscribing. And remember, guys, never let anyone dull your sparkle.
Me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world.